Howdy folks, me again. So the other day I was thinking to myself, I need another air pump because I run my moving bed and the air bubbles from my fry tank on one of the Evolution Aqua 70 litres per minute air pumps, one of the ones that you can put outside. It's a really good pump. I really like them. I think they're absolutely brilliant pieces of kit. But I just had this feeling it wasn't really big enough. I wanted a bit more. So I was perusing the world of Arsebook, and not my favourite place, I must admit. And I thought, well, I'll have a look on Marketplace and see what we've got in there. And a week or so ago I came across somebody selling a brand new 30,000 litre an hour EA Vari pump and a 95 litre per minute EA air pump, and it was 350 quid, and I just thought, a little bit out of my price range. I think I'd probably only get about 250 quid for one of the kids if I sold them. So I decided to hang on to the kid and didn't buy the air pump and the Vari pump. But to my absolute delight, I came across it again this week, and the price was reduced to 250 quid. So I thought, oh, ideal. I can actually keep the child and go and buy the air pump and stuff, because I had a good weekend on the cabs, and the missus wouldn't let me sell one of the kids anyway. She's a bit protective like that. So anyway, I contacted the bloke, Itchy Luggle, and he insisted that he wanted to deliver the things. So I was like, well, okay, that's an hour and a half journey for you. I drive for a living at the moment, so it was no bother for me to go and get them. But he insisted, and just wanted 20 quid for an extra 20 quid for the privilege. So I was like, all right, we'll do that. Me expecting some big nasty mugger to turn up at my house, and it was actually a really nice chap. Very genuine, and just using it as a chance to get out the house and go for a spin. So anyway, I'm now the proud owner of a brand new but been sitting on the shelf for a few months 30,000 litre an hour Vari pump and 95 litre an hour air pump. So I'll spin you around and we'll have a look in the boxes. So there we are. Let's have a look at the old air pump first. I got a bit excited last night and opened the box, like you do. Us chaps do like our new toys. So, brand new, in box. Never even had a plug on it. All the bits and pieces still bagged up. Instructions. So all looking good in there. I'll get them out in a minute. And of course the 30,000 Vari pump. Not actually sure why I need a 30,000 Vari pump, but at 250 quid, I wasn't really going to say no. So yeah, all still bagged up. It's the old control unit. Do you know how impossible it is to do stuff one-handed? Especially when it's your left hand. I only use my left hand for one thing, and it's not unpacking stuff. So there you go. All nice, shiny and new. The big old beast. Pull that out. Oh god, that's it. 2 seconds. So there we are. Pretty impressed with that one. Certainly not going to complain for 250 notes. Let's get the air pump out and have a look at it. I'll snap back to you in a second. Oh, there we are. And brand new air pump. 95 litres a minute. Can't complain at that. So I'm going to tinker with this one in a mo and get it set up on the moving bed tank. So yeah, that's my little bit of luck for the week. Happy days. Right, I'll snap back to you in a second. Right then folks, so I currently run this one in here and 70 litres per minute, but then when you get down to output at 1 metre depth, litres per minute, we're looking at 52. So by the time it's pumped into my moving bed, which is about 1 metre deep, I'm not actually getting masses out of it. Don't get me wrong, it's a good pump because it does 2 air stones in my moving bed as well as an air stone in my fry tank, but I wanted just a little bit more. So I've gone, so this is the 95, and at 1 metre depth we're looking at 78, so it's quite a big increase. And what I have noticed with these is that these pumps are actually very, very good on the old electric with power usage. So we're at 34 watts for that one. And I was tempted to buy another one of those and actually run 2 and just run 1 for the moving bed and 1 for the fry tank and let a bit of air bleed off somewhere. But obviously this one came along at stupid money, so I opted for that. But he runs at 62 watts. Now these 95s retail, I think they're somewhere around like 240, 250 quid, something like that in most places, a bit cheaper in other places and a bit more in others. And literally all you get is what you see there. These retail, I think it's about 150 quid, and you get a load of nice kit with it. You get the airline, the manifold and the air stones. So that was the route I was going to go down, but obviously I say this one came along at stupid money, so I would have been foolish not to have taken it really. But it's just worth bearing in mind when we're looking at buying these pumps. I mean, this 150 litre is hideously expensive, and power wise it's going to be using 106 watts, and these things are like 400 quid and over. So still, it's going to be a really strong air pump, but in my mind, especially if I was like looking at a 130, why would I spend over £300 on a 130? I think these are like 350. I'm sure you'll all correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. These are like 350 quid and they run at 88 watts. So instead of buying one of those, I'm gonna buy 2 of them. Running at, the 2 of them will be 68 watts, and at 1 metre depth, it's only going to be giving you 6 litres per minute less than a 130. And these ones get hideously expensive, but that kit is a brilliant little kit. So that's my tip. Instead of buying some of the bigger ones of these, buy a couple of them, because they run cheaper and you get a bit more stuff with them as well. But obviously I got this for silly money, so that's what we're going with for this video. Right folks, there's the moving bed. That is 70 litres, that's the 70 litre per minute pump. So that's getting the majority of the air from that one. It's running on these 50mm air stones. There's 2 of those in there. They're plenty big enough for what it's doing. But obviously I've got one of those air stones in the fry tank as well. So I bleed a bit of air off into there. Now what I'd like is more air, certainly more air going through the moving bed, and definitely a little bit more air going into the fry tank. So the 95 is actually a pretty good compromise. Now a lot of you will notice the media still doesn't look like it's actually matured and done anything, and in fairness it's probably not doing a great deal of anything, just purely because just as it gets going it strips all the KH out of the water and my pH drops. So I've been fighting pH crashes for months, in fairness, and adding bicarb, and you know, filter wise it is working. You know, it does convert the ammonia to nitrites and the nitrites to nitrates, there's no doubt about that. But obviously it tends to work really well for a while, and then it backs off, and that's obviously when it's stripped all the KH out of the water, and it's just causing the filters to die back. Now the plastic media is well known for doing this, and causing pH crashes and stripping your KH out of the water. Hence my attempt at buffering with pumice, which so far have been unfruitful. It hasn't actually done a great deal, but obviously I'm going for a long-term fix here, not a quick fix. So I'm still happy to put a teaspoon of bicarb in every day or every other day, depending on how it is, and testing the water. But the plain fact is there is just too much livestock in this tank, and I need to thin them out a bit. I'm not going to use the word cull, because I'm not going to cull them. You know, I didn't buy fish to kill them, I bought them to grow them. So that is the plan, and every fish in this tank is a fish that I'm interested in seeing growing on. I'm not trying to grow monsters, I am just trying to grow some nice fish that I can give away to family and friends who have got ponds, and I can put out in my pond in the summer. And I've still got a lot of fry outside that are actually overwintering outside and doing fantastically well, that I'm hoping to bring on in the summer as well, which is going to be quite a big mix of varying types of ogons. So, you know, hopefully I'll have masses of big fish to choose from. If not this summer, then next summer. You know, I'm in no hurry. I'm not doing this to like buffer up my bank account or anything like that. I'm just doing this to grow some nice fish, and hopefully take you guys along for the journey. Right, so that's me waffling on. Let's get this air pump changed. Right guys, I've shown you this tool in a previous video, so I won't go into it. What I will say is though, if you do a lot of stuff with flex where you have to strip the cables, strip the end, these Nipex tools are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. They're really good. They allow you to take off the outer sheathing without nicking the inner cores. Fantastic bit of kit, money well spent. Now I'm going to put ferrules on this. I don't need to, but I just am, purely because they keep things neater. Try and pick it up, there we are. They keep things nice and neat. And they're much easier to live with. I by no means have any form of OCD whatsoever, as I'm sure you can tell by the lids on my shower filter. But when it comes to these bits, I do like it to be tidy. These ferrule kits, I got this one on Amazon, and it cost, believe it or not, it cost me £7. They vary. Every now and again you get them for a lot less. Every now and again you'll get them for a lot more. But this is a cheap one. Usually goes for about 20 quid. I just caught it on the day and it was on there for about 7 quid. So happy days. Right, in this whisker box is my connections for the air pump. So, purely because the cable is actually quite short and I needed it to go from down under there to over there, but wasn't quite long enough. So what I'm going to do is disconnect it from in here now, and then I shall connect the next one in. So first things first, if I can do it without falling over, is unplug it. There we are, unplugged, no bubbles. Screwdriver. There we are. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed. But no, right, I shall stop it and then I shall take the lid off and show you. Right then, there's the connections. I know it's all switched off, so I'm quite happy to put my fingers in there. Now, Wagos, you don't need to use ferrules when you're using flex cable on these. They are designed to take the flex cable as well as hard cables. But, like I say, it just keeps it neater and stops you catting about with all flary cables and twisted bits of wire. So I need to take this one out and replace it with the 95. So bear with me. Right, so those of you, I'm sure not everybody knows how Wagos work, so I'll do a little demonstration on that. You literally have a lever arm here and you can pull out your cable. Which one have we got there? So we want this one, pull that one out, and then this one, and we pull that one out. Now, on these Wagos, these are 5-way, you can get 2-way, 3-way and 5-way on these ones. I always try and so if I've put the earth in the middle one, then I'll go for the live in the middle one and the neutral in the middle one, just so I know that that's all one thing. So I just need to undo the stuffing gland. Can I do it one-handed? Yeah, look at that bit. Now, I've got the ability so I can run both these pumps if I need to, but that's that one. We'll discard that one. But to put the new one in, I am going to need 2 hands, so I shall snap back to you when it's done. Right then, that's all in. And as you can see, let's see if I can get an angle on this. The ferrules actually go in there really nicely. Yeah, oh, as you can see on my cable from the plug, I've used ferrules anyway. So they do go in there nicely. We did a little tug test. Yeah, that's not coming out of there. And there we are. Lovely jubbly. Let's plug it in. Be nice if the camera focused, wouldn't it? Well, it's working. Well, I can hear you all saying, oh, put the cover on, look. They're fine. Right, there's a little hole here where you can test. You can't get your finger on it, okay? These are excellent and very, very safe. Right, so it's running. Awesome. Let's put the bits and pieces on. Well, folks, I'd say that was better. Not much better, to be fair. So the little old 70-litre pump was doing well on there, but there is a noticeable difference. I have definitely got more air coming through there, and I know I've got a lot more air in the old fry tank, which you can't really see, but it is bubbling like a good one there. I've got too much air going in there, but obviously fry tank is not as deep as the moving bed. Oh look, Tempest still bloody dripping. But if I restrict the fry tank a little bit, it's putting more back pressure on the pump. So there is plenty of bubbles down there. I know it's in the stream with the shower at the moment, but there is plenty of bubbles. And there we are back there. So what I must do at some stage is, obviously this airline is terrible, it's super restrictive. So I shall run a larger hose and perhaps get one of those big discs to stick in the bottom of there, and I may even go just have an air pump specifically for the moving bed. But I'm more than happy with that. That's a lot more movement. And also bear in mind, there is at least 80 litres of media being moved around this barrel, and that 80 litres takes up a lot of space. So to actually get it moving the way it is moving, I am actually quite happy, considering I just cut the top off the barrel, put a kitchen sink in it, kitchen sieve in it, with a couple of gravity fed outlets back to the tank. You know, it certainly strips the KH out of the water. So in terms of filtration, the filtration's there. I just need to get a handle on getting the KH and the pH well sorted. So hopefully we'll get this media, get it to turn a bit more black and murky and stuff over the next month or two, and we can see if we're actually making progress. But for now I'm happy with that. That's a lot more air bubbles going in there, and that's a lot more air bubbles going in there, and I've got that little one as a spare. So happy days, because I run one of those in the garden as well for the Easy Pod, and it's always good to have a spare on the shelf. So on that note, I shall leave you to it, and thanks for watching.